Palm Orchard where I knew there was two trash piles. And I caught a 4-pounder and got broke off. Caught our 5th fish at 10 minutes to 3.
What size line?
Welcome to the heart and soul of Outdoors Radio. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. In our 11th season, we continue to share facts and give advice on the great outdoors, where we never let the lack of facts come between us and a good story. Guys who are dedicated to helping you become a better outdoorsman. Your host, Gary McCoy, who's no stranger to the radio world or the outdoors, with a CMA to his credit for best personality. A well-accomplished outdoorsman who loves the thrill of taking a big buck or putting a bass in the live well. Mike Eccles, born and raised in Louisiana, who's fished and hunted his entire life and continues to chase ducks in the backwaters and pull bass off cypress trees. And the Boss Tournament Trail Director who runs the best team circuit in Louisiana. Steve Graff, raised in the woods and waterways of East Texas, a former Northwestern State two-sport athlete and tournament angler who continues to strive for big bass and winning stringers. And last but not least, Jay Watley, the brains and producer of the show who pushes all the right buttons, a man with unmatched talent who excels in making these guys look good and this show sound great. Now let's jump off the front deck and make the first cast with the boys who know it all, Gary, Steve, Mike, and Jay.
Woo, thank you for tuning in, hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger. It's Gary McCoy, the old Ranger Iowa's pro staffer, Steve Graff.
I'm back.
Mike Eccles in the house, and little Jaybird's in there. He's got his hat on backwards today.
Hello.
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 Are you a singer, Jay?
Yeah.
Can you sing, seriously?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Do you do like weddings?
I don't know if I
and
can
stuff?
sing well. I do. Well, I don't sing at weddings, but
You don't.
Really?
Did you sing at your own?
I haven't got married yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one day. Been
Yeah.
engaged for 7 years now.
Been engaged for 7 years.
You're getting to know each other, I assume.
We're almost there.
If he can ever get her to say yes, then they'll do it.
Maybe this is the year.
Keep her in suspense.
Hey, this segment is brought to you by Steve Nichols, Specialty Track Co., Lake Fork Guide, Johnny Geis, and Despino Gem South Tire. For all your tire needs, from the family car to farm equipment, go to DespinoTire.com.
You got Randy on the show today.
That's what I was going to say. Listen, this is going to be a record-setting show. Never have we done this before.
Right.
Listen to this.
What, not got arrested?
A total of 6 interviews over the course of 2 hours. We're going to have on biologist John Davis. He was with us last week. He's with Delta Waterfowl. We're actually going to talk about what we were supposed to talk about last week. This week.
And that's a good thing. The interview went so well, we didn't get to
what we wanted to talk about.
Main topic. Yeah.
John's going to be on here at 11:15. Then at 11:30, Daryl Gleason is going to tell me where to catch a fish on Toledo Bend.
I hope so.
Dude.
And then I'm going to show you Saturday.
Okay, good. See, I'm on. Bob Seeley's coming up. Speaking of Toledo Bend.
I'll go ahead and get your check ready.
They had the Big Bass Splash Saturday on Toledo Bend.
Yep.
And the local guy from Zawali won it all with one a little over 11 pounds. Huge fish. I want to say he caught that one like midday Friday.
Yeah, you're right. It's around noon.
And then had to wait it out for the next 2.5 days to find out that he had won it all. I mean, that's just huge. And you know what? There were several rumors. Kurt Carver told me that he paints crankbaits, the winner of the tournament. So
really?
He said he paints specialty crankbaits. And he said, so in all likelihood, he probably caught it on one of his crankbaits. Well, one of the rumors on Toledo Bend over the weekend was that it was a crankbait that he found in a tree up on the bank and just tied it on and started fishing it.
Come on.
Now, you know.
Yeah.
Now, you know.
No, come on.
You know.
No.
That's just not how it went down.
No.
But it makes for a better story.
Sure it does.
And no doubt.
Straight up 12 noon, National College fishing angler Harrison Hopkins of LSUS is going to be right here in the studio with us. Then at 12:15, FLW Director of Public Relations Joe Opager?
Yeah.
He is going to discuss the FLW All-American on Cross Lake next week. How many teams you think?
It's 40-something. It's not teams.
It's not teams.
Oh, it's individuals.
Yeah.
Okay.
40-something, and we have 3 locals. Randy Despino.
Hey.
Randy Deaver. And Nick LeBrun.
Hey.
will be fishing in it.
So all three of our guys are going to finish up 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
I guarantee you,
There's
they're
a good-
3 of the top
there's
10 to
Dang
Yeah.
good chance. Dang good chance. Last Thursday night at the Cash Splash out there on Cross Lake, at one time sitting under the pavilion before the weigh-in started, I had 3 different All-American anglers out there that were fishing.
Yeah.
That were sitting under the pavilion talking. One of them was from Ohio. The other one was from Indiana, and one of them was from Georgia.
Wow.
And I think combined that day they had caught 5 fish.
Wow.
welcome
on
to Cross.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were wanting to know where the big drop offs were and the.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of ledge fishing on
Yeah.
Cross.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge. that
ledge fish-
that one spot where it drops from 18 into 112. That's the
No,
spot.
that's 18 inches to 22 inches.
Yeah.
That's a drop off on Cross Lake.
If they're fishing 2 foot or more, they're too deep.
Yeah. And speaking of Randy, he is going to be on the show here at 12:30 with us. He'll talk about that FLW All-American that's coming up next week. What's
Yeah.
going on with that?
And see, at the same time as while we're having the college kid on, they're having the college national championship on Red River in conjunction with this All American event.
And speaking of Red River, we got a BASS tournament coming to Red
Yes,
River.
the 14th, 15th, and 16th of June on Red River, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 2-day weigh-in at Red River South.
You need some help for that,
Yes,
don't you?
I do. I do, too. I need
What are you
some-
looking for?
The Swedish bikini team. But I will
Eck-
settle for a couple
Eccles,
of old.
Graf and I are busy that week, or
Yeah.
we wear our
Yeah.
bikinis. And,
yeah.
I've seen you without a bikini. I don't want to see you with one. We do need some volunteers to work BASS Open, work behind the scenes, carry bags, fish, help us with the trucks, pulling the boats and stuff. You need to be available Thursday, Friday, or Saturday from like 1:30 till about 5.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for some of the high school teams maybe to get involved.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm hoping Donnie Westmoreland. I've got one already. A friend of mine, him and his son, and Clint Bates and Dagan, or Dagwood, we call him. They're going to work. They've signed up to work. But we do need some adults on Saturday because you have to drive the truck and the boat at Bass Pro Shop in the parking lot. They've got to drive through weigh-in.
Right.
But the other times, Thursday and Friday, we can use the high school kids and anybody, boys and girls. You're going to be just helping with the fish, carrying fish, putting them back in the tank, bringing bags back and forth, just behind the scenes. It takes these people to make this event a good one.
Yep, it does.
All they got to do is call me.
Okay, speaking of upcoming tournaments, we got a big one that is not this weekend, but next weekend. It's the Boss Championship.
June 2nd and 3rd on Toledo Bend, and I'm going to stop right now. 'Cause if I don't, I'm going to forget it. Happy birthday to one of my grandbabies, Annabelle Grace. She turns 5 years old today. So
Wow.
She's at our house right now. Love you, baby. Thank you. Happy birthday. Yes, the Boss Championship, Lander Ram Boss Tournament.
What do they call you, the grandkids?
Papa.
What do they call you?
Don't want to know.
What do they call you? What do they call you? They call you Papa?
Papa.
Papa?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Papa Eccles.
And one of these days I'll
Got a little
have.
ring to it.
What do your grandkids call you?
Coach.
Coach? Really? I love
They
that.
tried several different
Coach.
names. It didn't work.
That's pretty
Pap
good.
Paps,
I
and
see.
I'm like, no,
I
that ain't
don't
working.
have grandkids yet. Coach and Papa.
You want to borrow some for the weekend?
Okay, the Boss
Okay,
Championship, June 2nd and
championship,
3rd.
yeah.
Billy Phipps, he's not getting to listen right now. He might be listening Saturday morning when we replay this show. He said, listen, if you will, just make sure you go over the off limits and what that means.
And it's been this way for 12 years.
Yeah.
Off limits means you're not allowed on Toledo Bend.
But we got anglers that have never fished
Right.
the
You're,
championship before.
You cannot be on Toledo Bend, the lake of the championship, Monday through Friday.
Right. Now,
that
I mean,
means
could you be on the lake at Sunday night at 11:50?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the stroke of midnight,
Yep, you got to be off the lake. You can't be on there. Now, when I say you can't be on there, I don't mean that you couldn't back your boat in the water and pull it over on the bank someplace. But
Yeah.
you can't
Can't be
launch
fishing.
someplace and drive across. You can't do that, but you could push a boat off the trailer.
Right.
But you can't go anywhere during those 5-day period. It's a trailer tournament. You can launch anywhere during the tournament. We had like 80-something people qualified. We'd yet to know how many of them are going to actually sign up. Off limits Monday through Friday. Entry fee is $200 a team. You need to be entered by next Wednesday. Do not wait till Thursday, Friday. I will not be down there at daylight Saturday taking your entry fee.
Right.
You've known about this for a year. If you qualify, let's get your money in.
Yeah.
There's another issue, and that's no receiving information during those 5 days off limits. That's been in there that keep people from having somebody out on the water fishing for them while it's off limits. It is kind of a tricky rule. But it's something that we just have to have.
Yeah.
So it no receiving information from a non-competitor. That means if they are not fishing the Boss Championship, you can not get information from somebody Monday through Friday. It is your responsibility. If somebody starts talking to you about fishing, it is your responsibility to stop them and say, "Hold on,
Ho 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 ho."
Yeah. Are you fishing the Boss tournament? No. Then don't say another word.
Right.
I can't listen to you. Walk away.
Right.
That's your job.
Sure.
I'm
Now-
so glad you're doing that, Mike, because my phone will be ringing off the hook.
People calling you up.
calling me, wanting to know what to do.
I mean,
I can't
because-
deal with all that.
And I believe that because
Yeah,
if you tell them where you'd fish, that would eliminate that part of the way.
Exactly.
Nobody
Don't
wanna
worry
go there.
about nothing.
But and occasionally we have some guys just make a mistake and listen to somebody and then find out they're not in the tournament. you know.
Wow.
But that's your
So the first question ought to be,
responsibility.
hey, are you in the tournament?
Walk away.
Yeah.
Please, hush. Don't tell me anything.
You know
else.
what? Now, I did have another guy ask me this question, and I said, you know what? That'd be a good one for Mike. During the championship, say after competition on Saturday, could somebody, because there's going to be a lot of people down there that are, staying for the weekend, could somebody go for a pontoon boat ride with
No,
their wife
no.
after? Okay.
Get off the water. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you after the weigh-in, if you're not staying 2 miles down the camp, you can run back to where you're staying.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't deviate. You can't ride around and look.
Right.
And you know if you're doing wrong.
And that's going to make you fail the polygraph.
Yeah, I can't explain every possible scenario
Right.
to you.
Right.
When you get back where you're at, tie your boat up, get out of it, pop your cool pop,
Be done.
and stay out of the boat.
Now,
Yeah.
and exactly what ramp are you going out of?
It will be out of Cypress Bend Marina. That's
Okay.
the only-
I want to make a suggestion to all the lot of
Now,
guys.
we can launch anywhere. We just got to weigh in there.
Exactly. And I want to make to a lot of they actually sponsor our show. I stay there all the time. Wildwood Resort has great cabin
they
facilities.
do. Absolutely.
Yes,
Great.
without a doubt.
Have their own private
And you're right
launch
there
ramps.
close by.
Yeah, you can launch at their location. You're in San Miguel when you do launch.
Yeah.
It's just right around the corner from San Miguel boat ramp. But anyway, I highly suggest great place to stay.
Yeah.
It'll be like all the 4 qualifying tournaments. You'll start fishing at a certain time. We'll have that on the website and the newsletter by Thursday before the tournament. Just say 5:45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can launch anywhere, anytime, as long as you have your lights on, life jackets, anytime, big boaters in gear. You can go out, and whatever that start fishing time is for Saturday, it will be the same on Sunday, even if legally the sunrise changes a minute or two. I'm not
Right.
changing that.
You will change the weigh-in times per flight, if you will, though.
No, there's no flights.
Okay, no flights.
No flights.
Okay.
No flights.
Everybody's weighing at the same time,
Yeah,
whether you're
you
fishing
stop
for
it.
the.
Lines out of the water at 3 o'clock. You have to be checked in the bag line just like any other tournament by 4.
And there's not that many in it anyway.
That's about 80.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's probably not worth flighting to.
No, it's not. It's not.
You
It's
stop
not.
fishing at.
Stop fishing it. Lines out of the water at 3.
Uh-huh.
Be checked in the bag line by 4.
All righty, sit tight here in just a minute. We talked to him last week and had such a great interview. We invited him back this week, and he was just so happy to oblige. Biologist John Davis with Delta Waterfowl and all the spring programs, all the work that Delta Waterfowl is doing right now. That's right here on Hooking Up and Tracking Down, 1130, The Tiger.
Down, ball gown, hand me down, royalty.
Hook It Up and Tracking Down show is proud to be associated with our fine sponsors, Toledo Town and Tackle, V&M Baits, Commercial Power Equipment, Daiwa Samurai Braid, and J&J Exterminating. Don't let pests invade your next event. Call J&J Exterminating today. Now back to the guys who appreciate a good exterminator, Gary, Steve, and Mike.
Hey, it's Gary McCoy, and I want to remind you about this week's Facebook Sponsor Spotlight. Take a look on our Facebook page. It's Commercial Power Equipment. If you're trying to get anything mowed, blowed, or hauled away for the course of the spring here as you get ready for the summer months, Commercial Power Equipment will take care of that for you. They're on our Facebook page. And I need to mention J&J Exterminating. Jay just did a great job, but if you're tired of those pesky critters invading your backyard party, is there anything worse than fire ants?
No.
We didn't have fire ants when I was a kid that I remember.
I remember they were just getting started good.
I mean, now all of a sudden you look out across any pasture, there's fire ants, mounds be 2 foot tall out there.
It looks like gopher mounds.
It does.
Yeah.
And J&J Exterminating can help you get rid of those fire ants. For over 50 years, J&J has been controlling bugs. J&J now offers a mosquito control system for your home. There's another way to kill that outdoor barbecue.
Exactly.
Mosquitoes just hauling everybody off. It's termite season as well, so let J&J inspect your home before it's too late. That'd be the worst thing that you could possibly find out, is that you've let it go so long, and now you're going to be into debt thousands of dollars for construction to try to get rid of that.
Insurance.
Go to jandjexterminating.com to find a dealer near you. And on the phone with us, biologist John Davis with Delta Waterfowl. John, thank you for coming back again this week. We're sorry that we had to abuse you 2 weeks in a row because we couldn't get it all squeezed into 1 week.
Certainly. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come back, and I probably got a little long-winded. I get excited and lose track of time, but I'm happy to be back.
Well, Delta Waterfowl, as we started off last week, Delta Waterfowl is busy right now. Give me some kind of idea as to what types of activities, what all do you have your fingers in right now? What's Delta Waterfowl doing?
Sure. It definitely is a very busy time of the year. This is the time that hens are nesting, and so we're busy in our trapping efforts this time of year, and we definitely endorse trapping as a great tool in these landscapes up north where there's not much nesting cover. We lose a majority of the nest to predators, and so we're busy trapping, and it's also the time of year we're kicking off the research season, working with pintails, continuing the drone work with overwater nesters, canvasbacks this year, and following our ringnecks. We put some GPS transmitters in ringnecks this past winter, and following them, and they've made it far north up to the boreal forest already. So it's a busy time.
Most of those ringnecks wind up right in front of Mike Eccles' blind. The pintails can't find their way there, but the ringnecks just pile up out there.
Well, they're safe if they do. First off, I don't like shooting off. Second, I can't hit them. They move too fast.
Yeah, don't knock those ringnecks. They're a great wing shoot, and I think they make great table fare.
Hey, John, Mike here. Thank you again. Explain the difference. Now, there are, first off, ducks are just like fish. A bass may lay 1 million eggs, but we're lucky if we have one bass out of that 1 million eggs actually lives to maturity. And ducks, you're saying, laying dozens of eggs or up to a dozen eggs, and not every nest has one duck that survives to adulthood, right?
Correct. I'd actually say that the majority of nests don't make it. In the landscape where you've got a lot of grass on the landscape, you may have 20% of those nests make it, but on the majority of the landscapes where grass cover is down 5-10%, oftentimes 5-10% of the nests, only 5 to 10% of the nests make it. So it's definitely a numbers game, and it's definitely a landscape-wide game to maintain those numbers. And ultimately, water is the great equalizer, right? If Mother Nature puts water on the landscape, ducks do a wonderful job of maintaining the population. And we've had about 15, 16 years of great water conditions. So it's when we hit those drought years again, that's when it's really important.
Okay, now there are some ducks that like to nest on the ground, and there are some ducks that will nest over the water. And a mallard, I think, and I'm saying this, but I could be wrong. A mallard is one that would prefer to nest on the ground, which makes them more susceptible to predators. Are y'all having luck, or the organizations having luck in getting the mallards to nest in the boxes on poles over the water?
Yeah, that's the great thing about mallards. You are correct. As a rule, your diver ducks nest in the uplands, and as a rule, your diver ducks nest over water. There are exceptions to that. The great thing about mallards is they are genius generalists when it comes to nesting, and we've shown year after year that the hen houses that you're referring to, mallards love these things. You don't have to work to get them in there. They are attracted to them. And across the landscape, we find about 80% usage rate. And in those hen houses, we get upwards of 50, 60, even 70% nest success. So without a doubt, it is the most effective tool for producing ducks. When you've got a landscape, birds that are nesting in the adjacent uplands may have 5% nest success. Birds in these hen houses, 60, 70% nest success is very common. So these hen houses, they absolutely are mallard factories. They produce ducks.
As far as Delta waterfowl is concerned, how big a workforce is in play right now? Over how big an area?
Sure. Well, we're a small organization. We punch far above our weight class, and we contract the majority of the trapping and the hen house management, and a lot of our policy team as well. So you're looking at a core staff of about 65, and then we contract with another 40 to 50 trappers out there, and I could go through the different departments. There's a number of contracted workforce, but the landscape we're covering is hundreds of thousands of acres under trapping and areas where we have the hen house site set up. It is a large area. Our gas bill is very large.
So you're trying to take 100 guys, essentially, cover hundreds of thousands of acres in a very short window of time.
Absolutely.
Wow. Hats off.
Hey, John, Steve Graff here. I was out. I'm the brains of the show. I was out last week.
Right?
So,
okay.
Anyway,
he's actually the other end of the body. But,
but anyway, John, I'm just reading here. I saw a press release yesterday. Delta Waterfowl commends U.S. Secretary of Interior Ryan Zink and the U.S. Wildlife and Fisheries on a proposal to open 248,000 new acres to hunters and anglers on 30 national wildlife refuges across the country. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, as the Duck Hunters Organization, we spoke last week, we're kind of a two-pronged approach. Ducks are important, but we would emphasize that duck hunters are probably the greater issue these days, and we could not be more happy and appreciative with Secretary Zinke and the service and Sheehan, Director Sheehan, as they continue to embrace the conservationists, the sportsmen, as our top conservation, and continue to open these federal lands, refuges, et cetera, to hunting. And as you said on the website, there is a press release, and there's a full list there of all the refuges and the proposed changes. Again, it is a proposal, so I would suggest everyone go to regulations.gov. Go to deltawaterfowl.org, and the directions will be there. But there's an opportunity for you to go and submit your support for this proposal. But absolutely, the administration right now is doing a wonderful job, in our opinion, when it comes to creating greater access for hunters.
Well, years ago, and I'm not going to step on anybody's toes, but years ago I had a gentleman tell me one time, quoted a part of an organization that said, more refuges means more ducks. I said, no, it doesn't. It means more unhuntable ducks. And if I can't hunt them, I really don't care about them.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not saying that refuges are not important, but when you have so many refuges that the majority of your ducks fly into a refuge, set unmolested, and leave, it's not helping the hunters who are footing the bills.
Amen.
So I'm glad to see that, and that's just, I'll be honest with you, it's just a reason that I have gravitated towards Delta, because y'all are not sold on putting everything in refuges where we got thousands, millions of ducks and you can't hunt them, and y'all are not afraid to say we need to kill the predators.
Sure.
So that's just it's what I believe in, and I believe in y'all.
Well, an area that we're all familiar with, guys, is Felsenthal.
Yeah.
That's the one that's been opened up in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So that's a great area.
On the phone,
Yeah.
biologist John Davis with Delta Waterfowl. John, my mother-in-law, we have a lot of casinos here locally. And my mother-in-law, anytime me or my brother-in-law, my sister-in-laws, anytime one of us might go to the casino, she prays that we lose money. She does.
Okay.
She says nobody ever gets addicted to losing. They only get addicted to winning. And so my point is that in order to recruit more hunters, they've got to see success. They will only get addicted to success. And I'm going to tell you that
I don't know. I still hunt every day of the season.
That sounds like Nehemiah fishing, Gary. I don't know about that.
I believe, though, that in order for these younger men and women to come aboard and be a full-fledged hunter and see that sport through those hard times, is that if they can always remember that day or that week or that year, and you're working diligently now to create that environment. And so for that, hats off. I mean, the fact that you guys are helping in the predation, that you're out there trapping. Now, when you trap ducks, what are you examining? Are you tagging them just to see how old they are? What do you do?
Yeah. Well, let me separate a couple things. When I talk about trapping, I'm talking about trapping predators.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay,
But as part of that, so we also are involved in banding from time to time. There's drive trapping, et cetera, involved in that. Typically, if we are studying a specific bird, which is a different sort of trapping, we go through the permitting process, make sure there's quite a bit of permitting involved. And so there's a number of techniques, swim-in traps, rocket net traps, et cetera. If we're working with a specific species of bird and need to capture that bird, to say put a GPS tracker or something of that sort. So yeah, but when we talk about trapping, we're in mass. We're talking about trapping raccoons, skunks, foxes, these mesopredators that are literally just out of check on the northern prairie. And remember, the only way we have more ducks is if we have more babies.
Amen. John Davis with Delta Waterfowl. Thank you. You have really enlightened us over the last 2 weeks.
I want you on every week, John.
Yeah,
I want you
from
on.
now
That's
through,
me. I want you on every week.
Well, I appreciate it. Definitely encourage your listeners to go to deltawaterfowl.org and find your local chapter, sign up. And all of our local chapters, we keep money local there for each of the chapters to do projects in their community. And so the way we get stronger is through a greater membership. And so certainly folks go out there and find your chapters, sign up, and be part of the family.
Our chapter banquet coming up September the 11th.
Wow, not 11.
Yeah.
DeltaWaterfowl.org. You can find out more about that. John Davis, thank you, brother.
Absolutely. It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
And if you are a Toledo Bend hand and you're scratching your head right now, we might be able to fill in some blanks for you. Daryl Gleason is next with a Toledo Bend report, hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Looking for valuable info that's going to make you a better hunter, fisherman, or just a better person? Got to check out our website. It's HUTDshow.com. Loaded with essential information you need to make you a better outdoorsman. This segment presented by K2 Coolers, Nichols Department Stores, Groove Fishing, Lake Fork Marina, and Toledo Fiberglass. Home of the Gorilla Hull and your favorite Minn Kota headquarters for the Arklatex. For all your fiberglass repair needs, turn to Toledo Fiberglass. Once again, here's Steve, Gary, and Mike.
You know, we've got the FLW College National Tournament coming up on Red River.
Yep.
Right.
And Red River's kind of a booger bear sometimes, and with the changes we've had with the floods, dikes, levees, and stuff underwater, moved stuff. I'm telling you right now, somebody's going to have a bobo on their boat.
Oh,
That cannot
no doubt.
be helped. And when it happens, take your boat to Toledo Fiberglass. In business for 36 years, fiberglass repair and restoration. It's the home of the Gorilla Hull, which has a lifetime warranty of the boat, not the owner. They are a Humminbird and a Minn Kota dealer located just west of Toledo Town on Highway 6. If you need to learn more, go to ToledoFiberglass.com, ToledoFiberglass.com, and get the scratches and the scrapes and the dings out of your boat.
Daryl Gleason is on the phone. We're ready to catch some fish on Toledo Bend, and Daryl, after the I keep wanting to call it the McDonald's tournament because that's what we had it for years. The Bob Seeley tournament over the weekend. What would you give the lake, in a school grade?
They caught them pretty well as far as the size and stuff. I would probably still give it like an A for size and somewhere around a B- or a C for how tough it's fishing right now.
Wow. So is it tough to be Daryl Gleason right now? Or is Daryl Gleason wearing them out?
We're catching them okay. The problem is I remember how good it was 2 or 3 years ago. If you take that part out of it, then it's pretty good. We're catching, a fair amount of fish with a few decent ones. This morning we had a 5-pounder and maybe had about 10 or 12 keepers, in just a little half morning. But there's still plenty of people that are catching them and doing really well on the lake.
Okay, a couple of questions for you. Our United Rentals questions, plural.
It should be plural. You're right.
Of the day.
Thank you for correction, Gary.
I'm good at that. Ask my wife. What is the best bait to use this time of the year for brim? Crickets, worms, something plastic, frog-colored hand grenades? What?
So I snuck away about a week ago and played golf at the golf course, and I saw some brim beds, and I went home and got my little wife, and we come back with just a little box of cold worms, and we caught plenty for dinner.
Really?
Now, are you seeing any of the red ears, the chinky pin on the beds, or is it mostly just bluegill now?
So far it's bluegill, but I think the chinky pins are coming this next full moon, I would think.
Wow.
So everything's still late, isn't it, Daryl?
It is, but it's so weird. I mean, you guys know in Shreveport, like summer just come out of nowhere 2 weeks ago. It's been 90 degrees every day.
Right.
So it's all behind, but I think the big fast forward button's fixing to get hit, and it's going to start happening pretty quick. But I've noticed brim beds all over the lake. So if anybody's got kids getting out of school, those kind of things, that want to go out and catch some fish, just look in any little shallow pockets off the main lake. And it's not a problem to find the brim beds. That real shallow, you can actually visibly see them most places.
Okay, for bass, again, our United Rentals questions of the day. For bass, a big 10-inch worm or a smaller 7.5-inch worm?
The 7.5-inch worm is catching more fish. If you're out fishing the last couple hours of the evening or first thing in the morning, I would say you go with the big 10-inch worm and try to catch a big one. But in the middle of the day right now, we're throwing more of a 7-inch style worm.
Okay, and topwater preference. I don't know that this one's going to be applicable. I'm going to find out. Are you throwing a frog at all right now?
Up to about 2 weeks ago I was, but I think Graf sent me some of these questions. I think this was about, do we throw a popping frog or
a regular frog? Right.
Okay, so my answer to that would be the popping frog. So I think everyone has their own theories on all this stuff, but I like a popping frog around the brim spawn, and I like a walking frog around the shad spawn.
Okay, then another question for you, since we're walking into that. Would you prefer, as far as topwater goes, would you prefer the Yellow Magic or a Zara Spook?
this time of the year, I would go with the popping style bait for sure.
Okay. Now another question: when you are as far as the cover that you're looking for, would Daryl Gleason right now, would he be searching out wood or grass?
Grass.
Grass. Okay.
Let's back up, Daryl, because I think people accept things that they can understand a little better. You said a popping frog if you're around brim, a walking frog, which would be
like a spro.
Yeah, something like that. If you're around the shad spawn, why the difference? What makes you feel like one's better than the other?
So for me, I just find, just from observing while you're out on the water, if you see a brim up on top of the water struggling, it just seems to make more commotion. So that's why I think the popping style frogs and generally the bass are post spawn, so they're a little more agitated. The shad spawn, if you watch a shad skip across the water, it seems to glide a little bit more, and it doesn't really move as much water as a popping style would. So I would go with the walking frog more around the shad, and the popping style around the brim. And it's just a preference for me. I really like when they're around brim spawn. I like things that make a lot of commotion and really just agitate them into biting, because they have all those brims sitting there. You have to try to trick them and make them go for something that's not the real deal. So I just think if you're obnoxious and real loud, they'll eat that a little better. It works for me a little bit.
Now, if you're flipping brim beds, what are you flipping in there on those brim beds?
The little J-bug that V&M makes is a great little flipping bait.
Yes, it is.
And you can actually
Graf and I caught a ton of fish.
Yeah, we found that out.
They're handy little baits, and I just find the size profile of them kind of fit a brim. The body of it's kind of flat and a little bit wide, and it's kind of meaty. And you can even put you can do like a punch skirt with it, and kind of bulk it up some more if you're flipping around them. And but I actually, a lot of times on brim beds, I throw it on a little bluegill colored swim jig, and I take the J-bug and turn it vertical, so the little tentacles kind of swim along instead of going horizontal.
Right.
Now, Daryl, back 100 years ago when I was on Toledo Bend pretty much every day, the month of May meant eelgrass, and it meant that the fish were stacked up in eelgrass. You didn't have any trouble if you found eelgrass.
Yeah.
You found fish,
right.
And they're looking up, and
they were looking up. Are the fish in the eelgrass now, or are they in other kinds of grass?
Are you calling eelgrass like the same peppergrass? Or are we talking
peppergrass, eelgrass, same thing?
Alligator grass.
Alligator grass, it's all the same thing.
I know everybody has 100 names for all of it. Yeah, up until a couple of weeks ago, I was catching them in the peppergrass pretty good, and I would say they're probably still in it. The area I was fishing, the water level kept dropping, and it got down to where it's only maybe 1.5 feet, 2 foot. I prefer there to be 3 or 4 foot in there myself. And so when there was 3 or 4 foot in there, I was catching some on frogs and things like that. But I know the brim love to spawn around that stuff, so if you run across some of that, it's always a good place to throw a frog or something across and give it a try.
What about the deep water bite? Is it starting to pick up?
It has, actually. And, this week, the week after the big bass splash is always a little tough just because of the pressure the fish got last week. But, the deep bite's actually good. That's primarily what I'm focused on now, finding fish on my electronics and fishing for them. It's kind of my favorite thing to do anyways. But, yeah, the deep bite's getting much better now. It should keep improving. First thing in the morning and then last thing right before dark is really the best time as far as, if you're just out recreational fishing. That's the best time to catch them.
Daryl, we may have asked you this question. You've been on for, off and on for a year now, and we appreciate it. We may have asked you this question. If we had, just answer it again because we're idiots. Schooling fish, we do not have fish that school per se like they did 20, 30 years ago. Big schools coming up. Toledo Bend was known for it. Rayburn known for it. Black Lake Vista, no, it doesn't happen. Have we, through catch and release, have we raised a crop of fish that is harder to catch and knows not to show themselves, or do we have enough fish with some Florida bass characteristics in them that Florida bass don't school like a native black does, and we've got enough of our fish out there that have a little bit of Florida in them, so that's the reason. It would probably
be the political answer. It'd be a little bit of both, but I can even tell on the lake So there's more people now fishing than ever before.
Right.
So on any pattern now, we're doing more educating. And so, like, I always go back to, like, my deep pattern. I could pull up and find a group of fish on my graph now and be 30 fish. And 3 years ago, you could sit there and catch quite a few of those. And it seems like now, partially due to catch and release, and also because we have a ton of people down here on Toledo Bend that keep a lot of fish. So the population has dwindled just a little bit due to the pressure. But I think we're educating our fish overall because there's more people fishing and more people have the best technology and more people are catching. So just overall, I think our fish are adapting a little bit. And we've seen this happen at all the lakes in the country when they get real popular and the fishing's real great. They get highly educated. Like I'm sure, you guys follow all the tournaments and stuff. So anytime a ledge tournament goes to Kentucky Lake now, it may still be one throwing a big crankbait or a jig or something, but there's a lot of guys you see on TV throwing drop shots and things like that, trying to trick those bass other ways.
Okay, Daryl, if somebody's wanting to learn, whether it be learn the lake, learn a specific creek of the lake, learn their electronics, learn how to know when a fish is active or inactive, the number one thing they need to do is get in the boat with Daryl Gleason. How are we going to make that happen?
Look, man, the easiest way, because I'm on the water every day, is just shoot me an email at gleasonfishing@gmail.com, and I'll respond before the day's over with every time, and we'll get them out on the water and make it happen.
GleasonFishing.com. The email again is, give that one more time.
GleasonFishing@gmail.com.
GleasonFishing@gmail.com. Make it happen. Get in the boat with Daryl Gleason. Go learn something. That would be what the day is all about.
Well worth your time and money.
Catching the fish is just a bonus. Learning something to be able to keep that knowledge for years and years to come, that's the true trick. Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
And here in just a minute, speaking of Toledo, we're going to find out just how good it was. The man himself, Bob Seeley, is on, and he'll let us know just how everything went down with a big bass splash. It's next, Hooking Up and Tracking Down, 11:30, The Tiger.
If you've been to our Facebook page yet, go to Hooking Up and Tracking Down show for outdoors news, videos, and great product giveaways. This segment presented by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Toledo Bend guide Daryl Gleason, and United Rentals. the only place to get all the equipment you'll need to complete your next project. Go to UnitedRentals.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Gary and Steve and Mike, and grab that microphone. Harrison Hopkins just walked in. We're going to talk to Harrison here in just a little bit about the upcoming national championship on the Red River. He's a student at LSUS, majoring in business and catching bass, doing everything he can. Welcome to the show, brother.
How's it going?
We're good. Listen, on the phone with us, you need to listen up to this. Bob Seeley is here. Bob Seeley forgot more about bass tournaments than any one of the four of us will ever know in our entire life. How many guys do you know personally? Harrison Hopkins, a student. How many guys do you know are in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? There's one on the phone right now.
Oh yeah,
Bob Seeley's the guy in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Hey, brother, we just had one heck of a tournament down on Toledo Bend, and you get an 11.5 pounder like in the middle of the day on Friday. Was that guy, from what I understood, he was like from Zawali or something. Was he on pins and needles for the rest of the weekend?
Well, let me assure you, there were a lot of people on their pins and needles.
Dude.
We had a 10-11 weighed in that morning.
Ooh. Yeah, Pete Lowe.
Can you imagine you just caught a 10-pound bass and you're leading until all of a sudden this guy brings this big cow in?
Yeah. Yep, 11.52.
Wow.
It just goes to show you can't count Toledo Bend out under any circumstance.
No. And you know what? Now, I did notice something. Dustin Rivers from down there in the Zawali area, maybe Noble, Ebarb, somewhere along in there.
Yeah, Noble.
Dustin, he won like 4 or 5 hours. Didn't he finish up like in the top 5 also?
Well, he ended up third because on Sunday he caught a 9.28.
That's right. And he had already weighed in several fish, over 5 pounds. I mean, he was stroking them.
Yeah, this was really an unusual year on the Harleys at Toledo Bend because normally if you don't have a 5.5 pounder or better, you normally don't ever get in the hour. But let me assure you, this year we've had 3 1/4 up to 4.5 pound fish, just numbers of them that placed in the money every hour. And when you get up to about that top 5, then it got up to about 5.5, and then 6s and 7s, and then we had I think 5 over 8. As well, 894. Donnie Boudreaux from Hornback, Louisiana, came in 4th overall, and then Robert Grafton, Anacoca, Louisiana, had an 887 for 5th place.
Now, Bob, would you give the lake what kind of a grade would you give the lake? Because it looks to me like we got a couple of years there that we had poor spawns because you had some really big fish, and then you had the also rans way down there. It's like you didn't have a real good recruitment on the lake of those 6 and 7 pound fish, however old they might be.
The biggest problem that Toledo Bend had is, when we got all these rains, and then Sabine River Authority had to open the gates. I mean, when they opened the gates, man, it was like the biggest suction cup you ever saw, and it just tore away a lot of hydrilla, a lot of grass that went right on down the river. And so the grass was the whole key this year. If you found some grass, you found some fish, but it was few and far between in a lot of areas.
Wow.
Generally, up the north end has always been a predominant location and stuff, but not this year. From mid-lake all the way down south, it just seemed like that's where the numbers and things were coming from. But we talked to a lot of the fishermen, and a lot of them said, yeah, I caught 6 or 7 fish this morning. Then we talked to a few of them and said, man, I only had 1 bite, and I'm weighing it in. And so it was a hit-miss. Saturday was the best day because the wind picked up a little bit. The rest of the time, like Friday, it was like glass, and it was hot. Let me assure you. I thought we were in July. But overall, amazing tournament. Toledo Bend still produced 2 double-digit figures. And, it's just, they didn't have but 45 actual lunkers that they gave away from the Louisiana Sportsmen's Association. Last year, they broke all records. But this year, they only had 45, and 2 of those came from our tournament last year as
Oh,
well.
wow.
And it's just like we've got 2 this year that will receive their lunkers next year at our event. But overall, let me tell you, it is what it is. Toledo Bend is an awesome fishery, and we're really looking forward to next year. Next year's dates, by the way, are May 17th, 18th, and 19th of 2019. So
Mark your
we
calendar.
paid out $497,000 cash prize.
That was one of the things that I noticed on the results was that every day, the exact weight basses, every day, somebody caught that exact weight bass.
Well, on the first day and the second day, the 3 and the 5 got caught, but the 4 didn't. And then on the third day, we did have the 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
But we had 2 random open draws between all the contestants. So we gave away 2 $5,000 just on an open draw because it's all part of the guarantee. There's not a whole lot of tournaments you can go to where everything is guaranteed. And we don't base our guarantees on numbers. It is what it is. It's a guarantee, and we're going to pay it out regardless of what our numbers are.
Bob, I know you like to see, everybody likes to see 10s, 11s, and 12s come in, and 7s, and 8s, and 9s, and it makes it exciting. But realistically, 11-pound win first place or 9-pound win first place, the money's still the same.
Amen.
And as far as your hourly, me being just a average or below average fisherman, I would rather know that with a 3.5 or a 4-pound fish, I might win money in the hourly than to know that it's going to take a 5.5 or a 6 to get money in the hourly.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
I
point.
think it makes it great for who you're doing this tournament for, the average weekend person.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't take but one cast, and somebody's life can be changed. And, that's what the Big Bass format was designed for. I created this format 40-some-odd years ago, and we've just kind of taken it to a different level. And we're really looking forward for next year because it's going to be a bang-up year. And in case you haven't heard, I'm going to drop the bombshell on you right now. My 35th anniversary event at Lake Sam Rayburn is April the 26th, 7th, and 8th of 2019. I'm going to do the largest guarantee that's ever been done in Big Bass history, $1.2 million. That means that, and I'm really about to change someone's life because, our slogan is where amateurs win like the pros. Well, when you go to the Bass Masters Classic, to the World's Championship, the winner, like Jordan Lee, wins $300,000. Well, next year at Rayburn, at my 35th anniversary, the biggest bass is going to win a sportsman's package worth $300,000.
Wow.
Oh, but we ain't even began. 15 places every hour. That means first place every hour, Gary. You might want to come fish. Is $5,000
Holy cow!
for the biggest bass each hour, all the way down to 15th place, which is $500.
Wow.
That we will have the largest hourly payout that we've ever done in Big Bass history. The exact weights will be worth $10,000. That's a 3, 4, and 5 exact weight each day. That's $90,000 just in exact weight.
Better make your reservations now, boys. Well, I can tell you.
Well,
Can you imagine
not
trying
only
to find a place in March of next year
Yeah.
around Sam Rayburn?
Yeah.
well, that's the reason why I'm kind of dropping the bombshell down and letting people know to start making preparations. April the 26th, 7th, and 8th of next year are the dates. In addition, not only just the tournament, but we're going to have a full-fledged outdoor show. That means the manufacturers, boat manufacturers of all kinds, are going to be invited to come. Not only that, we're going to have a 3-day country music festival, and it's all free. That means I'll bring in a top name entertainer on Saturday. I've had Blake Shelton, I've had Josh Turner. I've had Chris Young. You know, we don't treat it lightly. We put on a show, and history is going to be made one more time.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Okay, give those dates again for that one.
Okay, the 35th anniversary event at Lake San Braven is April the 26th, 7th, and 8th of 2019. The Toledo Bend tournament will be May 17th, 18th, and 19th of 2019, and I'll be celebrating 33 years at Toledo Bend.
Wow.
So,
Bob Seeley,
by
thank you. And you know what? And from all the anglers, thank you for giving us this opportunity to go out on the water and, just like you say, win like the pros. It's an unbelievable chance. And, if you're going to be on the lake anyway, I mean, this is one of those you need to plan for. All it takes is one cast. One cast.
Yeah.
One cast, $300,000. One cast.
Man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You know what the 1152 was caught on, don't you?
I heard it was a crankbait.
Well, actually, he found this crankbait in a bush a year ago.
Wow.
And it had been been in that bush for quite some time. So what he did was he sanded it down and put new hooks on it, didn't paint it or anything. And that's what he caught that 1152
Well, I'll be dog.
on.
So there
And
was
that
some
was
truth
a
to
Strike King 6XD.
I'll be
Hey,
dog.
go to our website, Gary, at SeeleyOutdoors.com, because I've got 2 more events this year, one at Lake Fork in September, and then the fall shootout, Big Bass Splash, right back at Lake San Braven in October.
Thank you, Bob Seeley. We love you, brother.
Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate you. SeeleyOutdoors.com. Take a look. Get ready for the 2 remaining tournaments for this year and make your plans for 2019. It's going to be huge. Hook it up and track it down. 11:30, The Tiger.
All right, here comes one more hour of outdoors news and hot topics here on the greatest outdoors show ever, the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. This segment presented by the Red River Waterway Commission, Stingray Line Cutter, Despino and Gems Big South Tire, and Commercial Power Equipment. For all your lawn care needs, see the experts at Commercial Power Equipment, located at 750 Burcoons in Shreveport. Take it away, guys.
Hey, if you don't want to be that guy, then don't be that guy. Make sure you sign up for the Bash Cash Bash. If
How come you look at me when you do that?
Well, you were that guy one time. Hopefully you won't be again, especially for Saturday when me and you head over there. You better make sure you signed up because it'll be our luck. You'll catch that sucker. Bass Cash Bash. Hey, longest running tag fishing tournament series there is. Lake Fork starts March the 1st and runs through June the 30th. Toledo Bend is running right now, May 1st through Labor Day. A great time to go. You're going to be fishing at Toledo Bend anyway. Make sure you sign up. $500,000 cash and prizes, all up for grabs. So don't be that guy. Sign up before you go. Do it now, Gary.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Harrison Hopkins is here. Harrison is on the LSUS fishing team. You guys have had a pretty good year.
Yes, sir, we have.
Now tell me, I mean, when did that program start? Do you know?
I do not know.
I mean, but you're not in the first group.
I know, sir.
What grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
All right. So were you fishing in the high school stuff?
When Parkway got it was the first year. My senior year was the first year they had it.
Okay. How did you do on the high school level?
I got third in AOI,
Okay.
something like that.
So for Parkway or in the nation?
For Parkway, like for the high school fishing trail.
High school fishing.
Okay.
North Louisiana Fishing League.
Yeah, North.
It's
Okay.
been around. LSUS probably about 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, something
They've been around a while.
So here's my big question. You know, at one point, ULM, probably the toughest sticks in all of collegiate fishing, wouldn't you say?
2 years ago they were, yes.
You know, probably they were the team to beat. LSUS has come along, and you guys have produced some stars. Who would you say is LSUS's biggest competition nowadays?
Probably Bethel University.
Okay.
Or, yeah, somewhere up north.
Have y'all made good friends with all these other teams?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Would they tell you a pattern?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, ain't much sharing going on.
They'll tell them a pattern.
Yeah, it must be what they want to hear.
They're in 47 foot of water.
You cut a hole in the ice and you drop a minnow
Yeah,
down through
yeah,
it.
no doubt. So, what's finishing school of the year is the biggest thing. But for Harrison Hopkins, what's your personal agenda? I mean, what do you want to do?
Win the national championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That would be. I guess anybody competes collegiately. I don't care what your sport is. You want to win a national championship. Now, Harrison, I'm a Northwestern State grad. Now, Northwestern State, when it first all started, they were one of the top teams in the country for about the first 8 or 9 years. They really dominated the circuit. Stephen F. came along, and Andrew Upshaw, and some of those guys came out of SFA, took over at that point. Then Lamar got real strong. Now LSUS has become really good. ULM's really good. Northwestern State's still good.
What about my school?
My question to you is, your school, Woodlawn High.
No,
great school.
I
Great
graduated from UCR. I beg your pardon.
You can't read?
No. The University of Crown Royal.
My question to you, Harrison, what attracted you to LSUS? Was it the education side, or was it because of the fishing team and how it's being handled? What attracted you there?
Both the education and how it is close to home.
Yeah.
You know? So I get to still see my family while I go to fish for all over the southern region.
Right.
He's not far from Daddy's wallet.
There you go.
That's
Or mama's skillet.
Does your mama make biscuits and gravy?
No, it's Dad's the cook.
Dad's the cook.
Is he really?
Okay.
Oh.
So does when you were in high school, was Dad the marshal?
He was.
Okay. So how supportive is it? How important is it that you have the support of your parents when you're trying to fish collegiately?
Oh yeah, my dad has taught me everything I know about fishing.
Well, but there's one thing, to have taught you something, but there's something else to continue that support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who pays for your boat?
Dad does.
Okay.
It's paid for now.
Okay, it's paid for. Who buys your gas?
I do.
You pay for your gas. Do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you do?
I work for a scaffolding company out for Sligo Road.
Okay, so you're humping it and you're trying to fish, and you're making decent grades.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're motivated. You're vested in this dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to fish professionally when you finish college, or?
That's definitely the dream. Yeah.
Okay.
So you do have that.
Yeah, but he kept he just told us his dream is in perspective. He's going to graduate with a business degree.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go to work for the fire department because fishing, I don't care what you say, it has no insurance, has no sick leave.
Amen.
It has no retirement.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless you win the classic.
Right.
And that's 1 out of 10 billion people.
Right.
So he wants to fish professionally, but it's still going to be his hobby.
Yeah.
He's going to create an income, and I can tell you, there's not hardly a set of parents out there that have supported their kids hunting and fishing more than Paul Hopkins and his wife.
Yeah.
So I mean, you and Bennett both are just, your folks are lucky. So are y'all. So
Okay, now
you can wipe that tear out of your eye.
Let's
now.
get
You need a Kleenex over there.
let's get to the real deal. You're going to be fishing Red River National Championship on the Red River.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather it be anywhere else?
I'm glad it's there.
Really?
Yeah, that's his backyard.
That's my backyard.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, what's it going to take to win?
13 pounds a day.
Will somebody be able to catch a big string
Oh, yeah.
at all?
Oh yeah.
Any of those days?
One day will be a 17-pound bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that sad? Is that sound that a 17-pound bag is a big bag on Red River now, whereas that wouldn't have put you in the top 20 10 years ago?
Well,
Yeah.
I think you'd still been top 20, but you still don't see those 20-plus bags anymore like we used to see. We're
Yeah.
not seeing those anymore. But I will say this. Reports I'm hearing on the river for the last 3 months, it's gotten better.
Oh yeah.
It seems like each month it continues to get better. People saying, oh, the fish are coming back a little bit on Red River. So you're right. I just said 12 pounds a day. 13 maybe 14 now. It's getting better, believe it or not.
Before our off limits period, I went out there and had some good days.
Did you?
I just
What was your best day?
16 and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was only for 3 hours of fishing.
Now, how many bites are you getting in that time period?
15, 20 a day.
Wow.
We not want to know where you're at. Are you staying up the river, or are you having to go a long way away from
I'm
here?
staying in pool 5.
Are you staying up here?
But now, all of that's going to change with 100, 150 boats.
Yeah.
Now, how many boats in this tournament?
I think it's 200 or so.
200.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of it's going to really change.
Yeah,
with
we're
200.
talking a team deal. Yeah.
Now, what about, like your friends that you've made from other universities that are coming to Red River? Do they know how much damage they can do to a boat and possibly themselves on Red River?
Yeah, they're going to have to watch out for the rock jetties. Big
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I remember the first time, you remember this, Mike and Steve, the first time the FLW came down here.
Oh, it
I
was
want to say
brutal.
it was after the second day of practice.
Yeah.
BASS had to tell the guys, listen, you tear off another Ranger,
Yeah.
or the lower unit
Lower
off
unit.
another Ranger, you're done. That's
Yeah.
it. We're not giving you another boat.
Iaconelli won that event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there too.
I don't know that a lot of people can. I watched people this weekend on Toledo Bend that were fishing in the Sealy tournament. I watched people on Toledo Bend that obviously had no idea what they were driving over.
Yeah, yeah.
They had no idea what they were doing. And it was like, you let this lake come down even one more foot.
Yeah.
And God love those people. I don't know how they made it through where
God
they were
watches
going.
over idiots.
Okay.
That's why Al Druitt stays in business.
Will you see in that competition, will you see somebody screw up?
Oh, yeah. Last year, we watched plenty of people screw up. Yeah. The rock jetty, right when you come out of the Port Lake,
Yeah.
there's 2 rock piles that are coming out of the water.
Yeah.
But what you don't know is there's rocks going underwater.
Yeah, extend
Right
out.
beside them.
Extend
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So, yeah. You
Now,
gotta
see-
watch out for those.
They find those.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, somebody said a while ago, and they asked you, Harrison, you says, Red River, are the fish coming back? Is the fishing coming back, or did the body of the river change so much with the 2 floods that we have that the fish just are totally someplace else doing something totally different? Is the fishing coming back, or are you, the river anglers, learning how to find those fish in different places? They were always there. They just weren't where you fished for them for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, it's definitely the fishing. The river isn't just coming back. You have to fish different areas.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
half the river is silted in. Like places where you used to be able to get
Right,
in,
right.
you can't get in there
Right.
anymore.
And I'm also finding, as a guy that's a river rat myself, I fish pool 4 a lot. I'm finding the better fishing now coming back to the main river instead of the back of the oxbows like it used to be. The main river is becoming which, according to guys from Arkansas River, that's where we're headed here because all the backwater is starting to silt in. So those fish are pushing out to the main river now.
What's as far as the national championship goes? What do you guys have to do to win School of the Year? Or I mean, are y'all anywhere in contention for that?
I'm not real sure. I think we're in 3rd, I believe.
Okay, so you could pull this off
Well,
with the national championship being right here.
yeah, but we would have to have everybody participate in every tournament and do well.
Okay.
and so we can get.
How many on the LSUS fishing team?
I think there's 8 teams or 6 teams, something like that.
Okay. So you got either 12 or 16.
Something like that. But half of them are graduating this year.
Huh.
So we'll be down to like 3 teams.
And you got 2 more years of this.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna win a national
Now,
championship.
what you say you'll be down to 3 teams next year? You can't have some new sophomores coming in next year and join?
New seniors coming in. Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Can
hard.
you participate your freshman year?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
so you could have a whole bunch of high schoolers that are competing right now that could be your teammates next year. Do you help recruit?
I try to, yeah. Yes, sir. Like, but it's hard finding people with a boat and who can.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
But everything's reimbursed. Everything you pay for goes right back in your pocket.
Really? A lot of people don't know that, do they?
A lot of people don't know that.
Hey, Harrison Hopkins, LSUS sophomore, competing. What's the date of your tournament?
It's the 29th, 30th, 31st, and the 1st.
Okay.
The fish
so
off.
next week.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good luck, brother.
Appreciate it.
You gonna win this one?
I don't know.
LSU.
You gonna win this one?
I'm gonna try.
You gonna win this one?
LSU Shreveport takes the lead in Team of the Year.
Really?
LSUS
How
Shreveport.
about that? See, you didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
Deadgummit, you're holding up the #1 trophy and don't even know it.
Northwestern State second, ULM third.
How about that?
Locals
Good deal.
are going to be there.
Good luck, and y'all be careful.
Appreciate it.
Harrison Hopkins with us. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger. You know, every week, this man sits right there in his cage.
Oh, come on now.
We don't even let anybody feed him.
It's hot in here.
Yeah.
Don't feed the animals.
Pushes all the right buttons in order to make this show a household name. Your kids are going to grow up and they're going to say, oh, my God, you know them?
Yeah.
You know them?
They're famous.
They are somebody. We would not exist, of course, without the dynamic abilities of Jay Watley.
Not exist, though? I mean,
We wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be here.
You guys were here for a few years before I was.
It'd just be the three of us just sitting here talking.
Yeah, they'd kick us off the air if you hadn't showed up.
True. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Jay, for making all of us and this show great.
Hey, anytime.
My greatness I owe to you.
Goodness.
How about that?
We salute you,
Yeah, I
Jay.
think we have a guest on the line.
Hey, this segment is brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoors Supercenter, Rayburn Country Resort, and Cigar Fishing Line, continuing to lead the way in the fishing industry with both innovation and quality. Cigar Fishing Line is the choice of winning anglers. And, Joe, you got to, is it Opager? Is that how you say your last name, Joe? Or Opager?
It's Opager.
Opager.
I told you it's Opager.
That's a good old Spanish name, isn't it? What is
No, I live up in Minnesota. That's Norwegian.
Norwegian? How about? Well, you know what? You Norwegians, y'all know a little bit about fishing, don't you?
Well, yeah, the lutefisk. That's what we're known for.
Amen. FLW Director of Public Relations, Joe Opager, and the FLW All-American on Cross Lake next week. This is going to be insane.
Big deal.
You guys are bringing, it's like country came to town or town came to country, one of the two. You're going to be on Cross Lake. Are you pumped about being down here? I mean, thank God you're going to be leaving where you are. You're going to be in God's country for a while.
Well, it's actually beautiful up here in Minnesota today, but that's definitely not always the case. But I'm extremely excited to get back down to Shreveport and Bossier City. It's been a few years, so I'm looking forward to getting back, and we're bringing the circus with us. We've got two big championship bass fishing tournaments next week, the BFL All-American and the College Fishing National Championship. Of course, this is the 35th year of the BFL All-American. We've been to Cross Lake twice in our history. So we've got a lot of history in the area, and last time we were there with the All-American, an angler by the name of Jacob Wheeler actually won the event, was the youngest boater to ever do it, and kick-started his career. Now, of course, Forest Wood Cup champion, multiple FLW Tour wins. He's over on the Bassmaster Elite Series, got a couple wins over there. So this tournament features the best amateur bass anglers from around the country, but it kickstarts a lot of pro careers, that's for sure.
From what Steve was telling us, we've got 3 local anglers competing in something, or in this particular event. Do the local anglers have an advantage, in your estimation, over the other contestants?
Absolutely. You can kind of look, as you mentioned, there's a couple local guys in the All-American. There's also a couple local teams fishing in the College Fishing National Championship as well on the Red River. And the actual teams from Shreveport won an event last year on the Red River to qualify for this tournament. So that right there shows you, some of the local knowledge there on the Red River and Cross Lake and how it can help. And I would absolutely say that, those local guys are the favorites to watch coming into these events.
Guys, Joe was the one responsible for getting Harrison lined up for us today with LSUS. And, Joe, thank you for that. We appreciate that. And, again, LSUS will be one of the teams to beat in that event. And local knowledge, especially on Red River, I really think Cross Lake having local knowledge is a huge advantage for the 2 or 3 guys that we have locally fishing that particular lake.
Yeah, the fish are pretty much, from what I've been hearing, pretty much done with the spawn by this point, and they're getting into their summertime pattern. And as you guys know, pre-spawn and springtime, it's easy to catch them. But as the year goes on and those guys get out, the bass get out in their summertime haunts,
they get to be a little more difficult. So that's where the local edge can really come into play.
Well, I want to help. If we have any of those out-of-town anglers that are here to compete against our guys, I want to try to help them out right now. I've got a little insight into some Cross Lake information. The smallmouth bite down near the spillway is huge this time of the year.
If you can keep the walleye off your hook.
Exactly. It gets crazy, but if you fight between those two on occasion, you can have a really good day. It's about 90 foot of water there, and everything ought to be good to go. No, seriously, when you come to town, how many anglers will you have blast off each morning on Cross Lake?
Well, on Cross Lake, we're going to have 98 pros and 98 co-anglers competing. So, what is that, 196 anglers on Cross Lake? And then, we've got 182 teams in the college event, and there's 2 boaters in each boat there as well. So, we're going to have more than 500 anglers in the city for the next week, out practicing on Cross and the Red River, and then competing for a lot of money and some Forest Wood Cup berths next week.
Can you imagine being a guy working like at Bayou Outdoor Supercenter next week, when trying to sell plastic worms or
inundated with traffic? Oh, my gosh.
This would be insane.
And also better have some lower units on hand.
Yeah, a lot of topwater baits, a lot of jigs, and a lot of worms are going to be sold next week.
Joe, let me tell you, we're going to give you some advice, y'all some advice to give to the and you know it. There's almost nothing you can do wrong on Cross Lake unless you just run into a tree.
Right.
You doze off. But the anglers on the river coming in from out of town will tear something up. It's not they might.
It's not if. It's when.
It's one of the most dangerous bodies of water they can be on because things have changed so much, and there's no way in the world you can emphasize enough in your meeting. If they haven't torn it up during practice, they're going to do it during the tournament. So safety on Red River is going to be y'all's biggest issue.
Absolutely, and that's something that our college fishing director Kevin Hunt, like you said, he preaches that at these pre-tournament meetings, and no matter how much we talk about boater safety and stuff, there's always going to be some accidents, especially on a fishery with so much cover like the Red River and so much, debris in the water, whether it be logs or trees or anything like that. So it's kind of part of the game, but absolutely, boat safety is one of the aspects that Kevin pushes. And, guys are required to wear their life jackets and their mandatory kill switches anytime that the outboard engine is running. So we do our best, and hopefully everything goes smoothly next week.
Joe, is this the first time, and if you said this and I didn't hear you, I apologize, is this the first time y'all have held both these events at the same time out of the same city? And if so, did it just work out that way, or is this a big benefit to y'all?
Well, this is actually the second year that we've done this. Last year we started collaborating the events. We were over in Alabama on Wheeler Lake and Pickwick Lake last year, and then it kind of just worked out nicely where Florence, Alabama was kind of the headquarters where we did all of the weigh-ins and stuff, but we were still able to have the 2 great fisheries to send the 2 different tournaments out on. So it made really Shreveport and Bossier City a natural selection with us. I mean, you guys have some of the best bass fishing in the country down there, and like I said, the Cross Lake has hosted the All-American a couple of years. We've never had the College Fishing National Championship down there, but we've had the Forest Wood Cup on the Red River a few times as well. So we know you guys have a fantastic fishery, great facilities, and the bass fishing community down there is fantastic as well. We've always had great attendance at our big events, so it really made selecting Shreveport and Bossier City, a natural selection for us.
I'm still in awe. That was actually a great question, and I'm wanting to know who texted it to Mike.
Hey, I'm not as stupid as I look.
Joe, what kind of economic impact is Shreveport, Bossier, can they look for financially with both of these events coming in at the same time?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's going to be huge. As I mentioned, there's going to be more than 500 anglers traveling from around the country, from California, Oregon, New York, Florida. I mean, everybody's going to be in Shreveport next week. Everybody's staying in hotels or at campsites or renting cabins. Everybody's buying your guys' gas, shopping at your bait shops, eating at your restaurants. So the economic impact of this event is huge, and that's just the angler. I mean, we're also going to have 50 FLW staff members in town. The anglers are going to have families and friends that come to watch and root them on. So, it's going to be huge. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but certainly I would imagine. I know a normal tour event brings in about 1.5 to 2 million. I think easily we will surpass that next week.
Wow. FLW Director of Public Relations, Joe Oppiger. I'm going to get it right.
Oppiger.
You even screwed it up with him talking to you, Gary.
All right, listen, hey, Joe, the big thing that we need to seg into on this is the actual weigh-ins, the support, because we want to continue that great relationship with FLW. Let's segregate them. Give me the weigh-in times for the tournament on Cross Lake, and then give me the weigh-in times for the national championship on Red River.
Sure. Well, the BFL All-American on Cross is running Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next week. Weigh-in's going to be held at the Bass Pro Shops in Bossier City, beginning at 4 p.m. 4 p.m.
At Bass Pro Shop, what was the
Saturday.
time again? Your phone was breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Bass Pro Shops in Bossier City.
Okay. And then the river.
Yes, and then on the Red River, we've got the College Fishing National Championship. The weigh-ins on the first 2 days there are going to be held at the Red River South Marina in Bossier City. And then the final day of competition for the college anglers on Friday, they're going to go over to the Bass Pro Shops as well, and they're going to weigh in prior to the All-American weigh-in. So Wednesday and Thursday out at Red River South Marina, and Friday at the Bass Pro Shop. And the college fishing weigh-in starts at 2:30 p.m.
So Friday next week is just going to be a zoo at the Bass Pro Shop.
It will be. It's going to be a zoo at Bass Pro Shops all weekend long, I'll tell you that. But, yeah, Friday is going to be our big show there, that's for sure.
Joe, thank you. And you know what? Speaking for all the local anglers in the area, we want you to know how much we appreciate your trust in our community, in our fisheries,
Amen.
And us to support FLW. And we pray that we're going to put enough folded money in the offering plate that you've got good weather for next week.
Yes.
Hey, thanks. Last time we were in town, we had beautiful weather. They were saying it was going to be 100 degrees, and it ended up being 80 and sunny. So it was fantastic, and yeah, we expect more of the same next week.
Okay.
It won't be 100, but it won't be 80 either. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey,
and
Joe.
Thank you, FLW.
You bet. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
And here in just a minute, one of the anglers competing in that FLW All-American on Cross Lake is our own Randy Despino.
Yeah,
from
we'll
Despino
get
Tire.
some info here.
Yeah.
Get
What's
some
he think
insight.
it's going to take
You
to
want
win?
to bet?
No.
What's he think it's going to take to win? What
What do I think he thinks he's going to think?
Yeah.
I'm going to say
3 days
17 pounds a day.
So 51 pounds.
That's what I think.
What do you think, Mike?
I'm
What's he going to say?
I'm going to say an average of 15 pounds a day.
Really? So
Well,
40?
it's just,
You think
it's
45
just too
pounds?
many boats on the lake.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
that's true. That's true.
We'll find out what Randy
Can I change
says.
mine? Can I change mine?
Next, hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
Want to hear what you missed on today's show? You got to tune in Saturday morning at 6 a.m. here on 1130 The Tiger. We got more hooking up and tracking down for you. This segment presented by Bob Seeley's Big Bash Splash Series, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, Natchitoches Ford, and Bass Cash Bash. Register for the Toledo Bend event going on now through Labor Day. Go to basscashbash.com and sign up today. Remember, don't be that guy. Now back to Steve Gary and the one and only Mike Eccles.
You know, Gary and Steve, we had one of the longest springs I've ever seen.
Without a doubt.
But when summer got here, it opened the door and stepped in with a vengeance, and it has gotten hot. You still got to get out and cut the grass.
Exactly.
The deal is, I don't want to stay out there very long.
No.
And the best way to get through is have one of the fastest and the best mowers out there, the X-Mark. Commercial Power Equipment, owner Paul Sutherland, great guy and a great sponsor of ours. Get ready for your spring yard work. Get ready for the summer yard work. Blowers, trimmers, mowers, they've got it all. They carry the best mower on the market today, X-Mark. And if you want it for your personal use, they've got in-house financing. Go to mybigmower.com to learn more about commercial power equipment. I think that's one of the best websites in the world.
You know,
My Big Mower.
You know, the cool part is all you got to do is act like you're related to Mike Eccles. Mike's bought his son 5 or 6 of them things.
Oh, yeah,
Just act like you're related to Mike, and they'll take good care of you. Paul will just handle it, put it on Mike's tab. Everything will be all right.
That's a good way to get subpoenaed, too. Act like you're related to me.
Hey, real quick, just kind of want to, while we're waiting on Randy, we've sent word to him. Hopefully he's going to call us right back pretty quick. I took a trip. One thing we're fixing to start, and this, I'll give Mike a little credit for this, because this is what we've kind of kicked around the last several months, is having people that are taking trips and going on destinations like safari hunts or great fishing
Eccles
trips.
takes a trip every Friday that I don't want to go on.
We can't go there.
No.
Me and you can't go there anyway.
No, I'm
You
not.
can go. You're just going to have a headache Saturday morning.
But anyway,
The Eagles will be singing a song about it the following week, you know.
next week, I've got an old high school teammate. He just got back from Africa, South Africa, on a safari hunt, and he's going to tell us the ins and outs of this trip and what it was all about, what all they did, how they did it. And I was surprised at how cheap it really was.
It's cheap?
I was shocked.
Okay.
You'll be
What do you call
surprised.
cheap?
Well, what would you think a safari trip to South Africa would cost? Just ballpark it.
20 grand.
No, you ain't even close.
Really?
6,000.
So, yeah, you're about right.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you do that there?
Yeah. I was shocked.
It costs $12,000 to get that giraffe back that you shot.
But anyway,
Randy Despino's calling your mobile phone right now.
Well,
he doesn't know the phone number to call.
Hey, go ahead and
I
talk,
just said it.
go ahead and
Just
talk
pick it
to
up,
him,
just talk to him.
and I'll finish
Just
this. We're going to start next week outdoor destinations, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to people that leave our area here in Shreveport and go someplace else. Mark Weaver and his wife Lisa, Don McCutcheon and his next door neighbor, Mr. Barker or Baker or something, are leaving Friday morning, going up to Lake Millac or something, a smallmouth trip they take every year. That's people from Shreveport.
You know what I
want?
You know what I want to hear from?
Used to be Ken Webb's group that went years and years. We got people that go to Oklahoma and Arkansas trout fishing.
Yeah.
We got people that go to Alaska salmon fishing.
Yeah, it's
And
Steve
that's
Nichols.
Steve is going to hook us up with those people. We're going to talk to people that leave here, go someplace else, hunt and fish, and then come back. And we're going to get, like I said, the whole thing all the way down to the price, what it costs.
I want to talk to somebody who has been recently on one of those Argentinian dove hunts. Went to Argentina to dove hunt.
they say it's insane.
They say it's the stupidest thing you have ever seen in your life.
I would agree.
I want to know how much it costs, how much trouble it is to get all of your permits and all that kind of stuff. I want to go on an Argentina dove hunt.
Yep.
Is Randy on the phone?
He's on.
Randy Despino is on the phone with us, brother. First off, thank you, and you know what? I just want to I want to apologize for Graff in advance.
Hey, man, what I do?
I know that you spend a lot of time around Graff, or he tries to spend a lot of time around you. And Eccles and I just we bow our heads and we thank you for your
Not killing him.
your kindness to Steve.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today?
We're good.
He didn't even elaborate on that. He said, "Forget that. I ain't talking about Graff."
Hey, listen, you're going to be fishing Cross Lake next week. What are you thinking? We got a little wager on this. What do you think it is going to take to win the FLW All-American next week?
Average weight a day.
Per day.
I'm thinking if you come in with 14 pounds a day, 3 days in a row, you're going to win it.
Wow.
Lower than I thought you'd say.
Wow. What do you think?
What are you thinking?
I was thinking
fish it all the time.
I was thinking 17, but Mike's thought 14.
14,
He thought 15.
14 is less than 17 grams.
That's what I said.
No, you said more.
No, I thought more than he did.
Anyway,
17.
I think you're right, Randy. I really do because. And first off, we just had Joe Oppenlager or whatever his name is on the phone.
Opager.
And I had no idea. I thought that it wasn't but about 45 boats in this event, and he said 98. Is that correct?
No, sir. My understanding is 49 boats in it.
Now he said 98 with co-anglers.
And I'm thinking he meant fishermen. I know. I think
No. It's 98 fishermen.
There you go.
49. It's 49 boats.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll go back to my 17.
That could change the numbers a little bit, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think the first day, you'll see a 18-pound stack, 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that it's going to fall off. And then Saturday, I think it's going to get a little tighter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 14 or 15 pounds a day, if you can come in with that, I think 3 days in a row, you're going to pull it off.
Randy, think about this for a minute. Randy Despino on the phone with us, competing next week in the FLW All-American on Cross Lake. And we might already have some of the competition that's come to town. And one of the things that I was telling Graff and Eccles was, we want to try to help them out a little bit. And I'm sure that you won't mind if I divulge a little bit of this information. That smallmouth bite down around the dam is real good this time of year. And
it's real good. Just go down there and drop shot them.
Yeah,
probably fight Nick LeBoom off to get down there. But
that Ned rig or the Nico or it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
There you go. That's what Nick's gonna be doing. I know.
Yeah. Nick be down there drop shotting. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to say real quick, Randy, Cross Lake, and you're a local guy, you know the lake, you fished it. Us three in this room have all fished this lake. It is the one body of water. To me, if you're talking about an equalizer, it's a place where even as a local, it'll jump up and bite you in the butt every once in a while. If you think
it will keep you humble. One day you can't catch them, the next day you go back and you catch all 5 pounds.
Exactly.
It's totally unpredictable.
Now,
and the water's changing a lot, and it's dropped a lot, so the fish are changing daily, I think. It has for me anyway. I don't know about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about all of you guys as far as the weigh-in being at the Bass Pro Shop and all the circus atmosphere that's going to be there? That's kind of a big deal, isn't it?
It is. It's really neat. It's just a nice show, and FLW really does it right. And Graff can tell you that you fish their tournaments. It's well run. It's just a top line show. So. Yep.
Randy, what did you have to do? You, Nick LeBrun, Randy Devers, everybody. What was the route that you took, and what did you have to do to get where you're going to be at next week?
Well, we fish a 6 tournament circuit, and then you make the top 40 and you go to the regionals, which last year the regionals was on Red River, and I think September, and then on the regionals out of 160 boats you come in the top 6. And the regionals draws in 6 different regional circuits for the Cowboy division, the Archie division. There's 6 different regions that comes in the top 40 and fish, and then the top 6 of that group goes to the All-American.
Yeah, it's a hard road to hoe, isn't it, Randy? It's a tough.
It is a very hard. And you fishing against some really good fishermen. I mean, you just got some top fishermen that you fish, and it's a fine line making it. It's just so many right there that can make it. And it's just all in just 1 or 2 bites at the end of the day,
Well, I fished Cross Lake all my life, Randy, and I don't consider myself good on it, but I've been out there to know enough of the bad things about it, some of the traits, and two things everybody needs to keep in mind, and you hit on it just a while ago. And I tell this to everybody, from day to day, nothing changes on Cross Lake except the fish. I'm telling you,
That's the gospel.
That's
you
about
can
right.
have the same wind, the same cloud cover, the
That's the
same
gospel.
temperature, everything, and the fish will do totally different the next day.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it doesn't matter if it's 110 degrees or 10 degrees. You can still catch fish in 12, 14 inches of water.
Yes, you can.
It never gets,
Every
I think most fish on Cross Lake, if they get over 4 foot deep, they get scared they're going to drown.
I think you're right.
Hey, let me tell you what, the year that Tommy and I won the city championship on Cross Lake, I'm going to tell you right now, if you'd have picked all the ticks off of those fish, they'd have weighed about 10 pounds less than what they did when we weighed them in.
Yeah.
Those fish will get, just like you said, and it doesn't matter if it's 150 degrees outside, those fish will get so shallow you can't imagine it. And I'm sure that, some of the guys coming in aren't going to be aware of that. And that gives you local anglers a little bit of an advantage, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's there again, when the fish are changing daily, it's anybody's game to figure them out. You know, and it seems like every time I go to that lake, it's a totally different pattern. Might be in the same area, but it's totally different.
Randy, is this a tournament you can go in there and power fish, or you got to slow down and finesse fish to win this event?
I think it's going to be specific spots, specific cast, specific everything.
Getting on the spot.
I don't think you can just go drop your trolling motor and fish all day and catch them. I think it's going to be a run and gun situation.
Well, Randy, the three of us are rooting for you, and hopefully by next week we'll have some good reports that you are faring well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping so. I know we're gonna put all effort into it.
And when you win this, or Randy Devers or Nicholas, somebody wins it, they're going to walk away with what is first place?
100,000.
Woo!
Holy cow!
Yeah, that'll pay for your
This
interest
ain't
fees for
chump
next
change
year.
then, no doubt.
Yeah.
You might be able to buy gas all summer.
Oh yeah.
Randy gonna get a new set of
Maybe
tires.
go buy some more bait.
You're gonna buy a new set of tires, aren't you?
There you go.
Randy DeSpido, thank you for supporting us and loving on us, but thank you mostly for being such a great ambassador for North Louisiana when the FLW comes in next week.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Randy DeSpido competing next week, the FLW All-American. It's on Cross Lake. Good luck to him, Nick LeBrun, and Randy Deaver, obviously. It'd be great to have a local winner as the national champ.
Don't be shocked if they're like 1, 2, 3 either.
That'd be awesome. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
The Hook It Up and Track and Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Spro Lures, Gamakatsu Hooks, and the CCA of Louisiana, making sure our coast and waterways statewide are protected and preserved for years to come. One more time, here's Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
Oh, shit. We're still trying.
It's you, Mike.
We're still trying to figure out who played in The Godfather. I can't think of his name. Here's your Daiwa Samurai braid. Best times to fish, and I'm going to tell you, every time I go to the lake, I fall more in love with that braid. It's unbelievable.
It is great.
This Friday is rated as fair and very good on Saturday and Sunday. The moon will be on the increase from 75% to 95% by Sunday night. There's a 40% chance of rain on Friday and Saturday. We need it, and 30% on Sunday. Temperatures will reach the low 90s each day with a low in the lower 70s. We need that too. Best times to fish are going to be late morning. Friday, 8:47 to 11:47 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:10 and sunset at 8:13. Saturday, be on the water fishing 9:33 a.m. to 12:33 p.m. Sunrise at 6:10, sunset at 8:13. Sunday, 10:20 a.m. through 1:20 p.m. Sunrise will be 6:10, sunset 8:14. This has been your Daiwa Samurai braid. Best times to fish.
Marlon Brando.
That's what I said.
Marlon Brando. That's who was in The Godfather.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. This. You know, I've always said this. You got to be careful when you look up our website, HUTDshow.com.
Right.
Because if you look up hooking up and tracking down, you'll
see us on another website.
you get a treat. Probably don't need to open that up in the office. And if you saw this headline on that other website, you wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, really?
5 tips to improve your fishing odds in the back seat, which might be retitled "How to Dangle Your Worm in the Back Seat."
Yeah,
and that would be perfect for the other website. Wrong one.
Now, see, my mind didn't even go there in the beginning, but I see where yours is gone quickly.
You've got us in the back seat.
I guess so.
Why did you say on the back deck?
This is great information.
Well, then that would have gone another way.
Yeah, exactly. This is great information. If you're one of the guys that's going to be a co-angler in this upcoming event here in Shreveport for the All-American, these are 5 tips that will help improve your odds of doing well in the Cross Lake event. So I encourage you to go there, pull up on our website, HUTDshow.com. It's on our front page right there. Great information that will help you maybe win.
I'm going to tell you the one thing that you're going to find on there that is there, that is the gospel truth. Just because what that guy on the front of the deck is doing and is being successful with, just because of what he's doing, doesn't mean do that. In fact, it means completely the opposite. Do something completely different, because if you think you're going to catch fish behind that guy on the same bait, the same presentation, he's a sane. Well, he is doing everything he can to make the most out of every piece of cover, every bit of that structure, whatever the case might be. And if you think you're going to come along behind him with a crankbait that's kind of like his.
Yeah, wrong answer.
Yeah.
And if just to give people a perspective of the type and level of fishermen that are coming here to Shreveport, these guys that are fishing out of the front of the boat, like Randy Deaver, Randy Despino, Nick LeBrun, these are guys that could compete on the highest level if they chose to try to make a living that way.
Sure.
And some of them are. Nick, I know, has aspirations of trying to take that next step to the major league level. So
just write the check.
Yeah, my point is, these co-anglers in the back of the boat, you're fishing behind top quality guys that are from around the country that know what they're doing. So great advice. All right, now, had a good conversation with Commercial Power Equipment over there with Paul Sutherland. Gave me some information on an event. Guys, this is tremendous. National Wild Turkey Federation, 5th Annual Northwest Louisiana Jakes Day. It's a youth outdoor day. It's this Saturday, May 26th, at the Kinsey Scout Reserve in Stonewall.
I didn't know that was the name of the scout camp down there.
I didn't know they had one in Stonewall.
Yeah. Owner Paul Sutherland.
Yeah, the scout.
It used to be Garland.
Well, it used to be Garland, but evidently it's now Kinsey.
Paul Sutherland of Commercial Power Equipment encourages you to register early for this event at his location, 750 Burt Coons, located here in Shreveport, or you can register the day of the event at 7 a.m. at Kinsey Scout Reserve, and Stonewall. You choose 6 activities on this list of activities, but you only can participate in 4. They want you to rate your first 6 that you're interested in, and then they'll assign you based off the breakdown of how many you're trying to get in them as to where you end up.
Kind of like signing up for your college classes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You may not get them all. So, archery, ages 10 and up is one of the categories. BB gun and air rifle shooting. Shotgun, steel targets, ages 10 and up can only apply for that. Shotgun skeet targets, only ages 12 and up can apply for that. Then you have fishing, boating, and gun safety. Bait casting, game calling. Monroe Zoo will have their animal education class going on there, bringing animals in from Monroe Zoo and educate the kids about
what they do with
types of
Steve
animals.
is they go, this one's a boy,
Yeah,
and this one's
is
a girl.
Well, now ask, how do you tell?
That's what they're having to do in the scouts now.
But he's here all week.
Yeah.
Waitress.
And they're also going to teach, and I wonder what this is really all about. You remember the book Zenning by Rick Clunn? He wrote a book called Zenning.
Yeah.
Becoming One with Nature.
Yeah.
They have a class here, Becoming One with Nature in the
Lord have
Outdoors. Turkey 101. And this year they're adding trapping.
They've combined that one with the Rick Clunn class. Turkey.
Exactly.
Turkey 101.
Bring your toothpicks for that one, probably. Keep you awake. Anyway, Turkey 101 and trapping, which is a new deal. They'll have a guy with pelts and everything else there. Shut up, Gary. Okay, and the one thing that Paul said for me to emphasize today.
What's that?
This is not a babysitting service.
Oh.
It's not a daycare.
Yeah.
Parents are encouraged to attend, especially if you have a young one that's going to be shooting guns and archery.
No, I would not. I would not encourage. I would say it was mandatory.
Sure.
Yeah, well, that's
do not pull
pretty
up
much
there,
right.
shove your kid out the truck door, and come back in about 4 hours.
See you in 3 or 4 hours.
The guy that's in charge of this is Rick Sally. He is in charge of this event and can be reached by email at rsally, SALLEY, at bellsouth.net or 318-218-4756, 218-4756.
That's this Saturday. What's it cost?
Didn't see the cost on that. I
Okay.
didn't look for that. I'm thinking it's free.
It's $5 fee per child.
Yeah, there you go, $5 fee.
That includes a Jake's membership, personalized member card, a Wild Turkey Federation decal, a year's subscription to Jake's something magazine, lunch, bottled water, and supplies for the day. How about that?
There you go.
$5.
I'm going to go down there.
$5.
And they're going to feed you. So enjoy it. It's a great event, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. If you want to introduce your youngster to the outdoors, what a
and
what a
the
great
Scout
way.
Ranch down there, Garland or whatever it is
Yeah,
now,
right.
it's just a great place. To go.
Me
It's
and
easy
Pete-
to get to.
Me and Pete were driving home from Toledo Bend the other day and had just left the boat launch. And I got to looking out there. I thought at first that it was a buzzard out in a pasture. And then we got closer and closer and closer, and it was a big old Jake.
Really?
Had a beard about 1.5 inches long. And I was thinking, I wonder there were men that lived in Louisiana their whole life and died never having seen a wild turkey, and now it's pretty common to see one anymore.
Yeah,
especially like around Lincoln Parish, Bienville Parish. I mean, the turkeys are everywhere.
I'd like to know if there was what the results were of the turkey hunting set. We'll try to look that up. Maybe get some results of what their kill ratio was this year, because they moved
It was down.
back.
It was down.
It was down.
They opened it up. They thought the numbers were down on turkeys in the state of Wisconsin. They may have been. So what they did was they opened the season about 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And it was turkey hunting was poor.
Really?
Somebody out there killed their 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever they.
But
not
point being,
only
probably
had-
by design, huh?
That's exactly right. They made
Yeah.
it where it was tough to hunt. Yeah.
So next week on the show, obviously we will be discussing the FLW All-American again.
Yeah, we're gonna-
That's going to be going on.
Yeah.
The National Collegiate Championship that's going to be going on. In fact, their final day is going to be on Friday. They'll be competing next Wednesday.
Yeah.
While we're on the air.
Is that right, or do they
Yeah,
start
he
Thursday?
said Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I think registration's Wednesday.
Oh.
I think it starts Thursday, Friday. Finals on Saturday.
The All-American, I'm 90% sure is Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Now the collegiate
I'm
event.
talking, that's what I said was the collegiate.
Oh, the collegiate. You're right. I think it wraps up
And
Friday.
he did it 4 days, and I don't think that's right either. I don't think it's 4 days official.
Okay, gotcha. So they would have registration Wednesday, Thursday, and then compete Friday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Wednesday they register, Thursday, Friday they compete.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, probably.
Okay.
Complete.
3 days.
Well, and they're probably going to cut it just like the other ones are.
Okay. We got to go to the house.
Yeah.
It's lunchtime.
It's time to take this thing home. Well, dadgummit, I just messed up
And the
here.
final word. And the final word from Graham.
After 55 years of being apart,
If there's one segment,
it's been
can't
great.
stretch
I
on.
totally deleted my whole deal. All right, after 55 years of being apart, it's been great discovering and reconnecting with my brother Mike. It's been awesome coming together and sharing each other's past trials, tribulations, and victories. Our paths truly parallel each other from life experiences to athletic accomplishments. But one thing we will do from this point forward, take the time to get together and do some fishing. It's just another example of how the outdoors can bring people together. But one thing is very clear for both of us. We have been blessed with great family and friends. It's been awesome sharing our time together and rekindling a true brother relationship that we will cherish for the rest of our lives. It's proof that it's never too late to reconnect with family. For Mike Eccles, Gary McCoy, Jay Wiley, yours truly, Steve Graff, thanks for listening. Tune in next week here on 1130 The Tiger for more hooking up and tracking down craziness.